Hello, everyone. Yair Spitz here with a update from the roads. I say from the roads because I spent yesterday and also today. I left our base up north, and actually all the way towards the south. The Army Chief Rabbinate. We're having a 2 day drills and kind of coming together, going over things. Also, it's also about feeling certain camaraderie amongst other different Army rabbis, but also going over materials and updates. And I'll give more. Hopefully tonight or tomorrow, I'll be able to give you guys some interesting updates about those the last 2 days. But one thought I did want to share. I'm sure everyone has been following the news very closely over the last week. Obviously, the people are being returned, the exchange with Hamas, with our captives and their prisoners. And obviously, everyone's talking about it and paying attention to it. It's a very complicated thing, and it's difficult. On the one hand, being very happy that our fellow brothers, sisters, children are being returned to us, and I think myself, like many others, after the terrible events of 7 weeks ago, I think many people already felt, okay, the 240 captives that were taken from us, the chances that we'll ever see them again are very slim. I think that's what I felt that. I think many people felt that, and the fact that almost 100 of our brothers and sisters have returned to us is obviously something very joyous, very happy, and at the same time, and this is something that I hear from my friends, from my fellow soldiers. There's a tremendous feeling of aggravation or apprehension. Everyone really wants to start get back to the main business here, which is to destroy Hamas and to get back to the war, full on. And I think many people feel that, but the soldiers in the field feel that far more. At the same time, while also being happy, so it's very ambivalent feeling. And there's been a lot of conversations about that over the last couple of days. Yesterday morning, before I left our base up north, I had a conversation with one of the guys, and he said to me, out of nowhere, he says to me, "You know what? I'm watching the news, and it feels to me like we've lost." I said to him, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, it feels to me like we're losing, because the longer we wait to start get back to combat, the less the chance it's going to happen, and therefore I think it feels to me like we've lost the war." And he said to me, "What do you think?" I said to him, "I think it's too soon to tell." I said, "I think it really, really depends on how this whole thing ends." And he said to me, "No, I think that the mere fact that we stopped, that already is a defeat." I said, "No." And I said, "Look, let's think back a second on our previous wars. In the War of Independence, so in the eve of the War of Independence, Am Yisrael was willing to accept the partition plan. And we were willing to accept not a whole country, not even half a country. Those of you who are familiar with the partition plan, it would be like a patchy country that has like different areas that are completely disconnected from each other, and we were willing to accept that. And then our enemies started a war against us, and Bezrat Hashem, thanks to Hashem and to our soldiers and to the gvura and the courage that Hashem infused within Am Yisrael, we were able to win tremendous victory, and suddenly we ended up with basically a full country, and almost all of Eretz Yisrael, and no one at the end of the Independence War said, "Oh, you know what? We had agreed initially to the partition plan, so let's give back to the Arabs the areas that we kind of won in this war." No, because the objective reality had changed. I said the same thing is true with the 6-Day War. On the eve of this 6-Day War, everyone was sure that we were going to lose. Everyone was sure that there's going to be, God forbid, a second Holocaust. They were preparing mass graves in the public parks in Tel Aviv because of the fear of how many soldiers are going to and civilians are going to die. And then within 6 days, the entire world turned upside down, and no one had dreamt 6 days beforehand that not only would we not lose, not only would we win, but we would triple the size of Eretz Israel, of the land that was under our control, between Judea and Samaria and Gaza and the Golan Heights and the Sinai Desert that was all captured and conquered in the 6 Day War. And no one right after the 6 Day War said, "Oh, wait a second, on the eve of the 6 Day War, we were perfectly happy with what we had." No, the objective reality changed, and then people's consciousness, the consciousness of Am Yisrael, changed to fit the objective reality that we didn't really choose, but circumstances and hashgacha and divine providence had brought upon us. And therefore, I said to him, I think that when we're discussing, right now what's going to be, it's like asking on the third day of the 6 Day War, well, I wonder what's going to be at the end of the war. I wonder what's going to be. I can't, it looks to me like the situation's bad. Or, 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 weeks into the War of Independence to come and say, I said, it's too soon to pass judgment because we are in great times. We are at times where great things are happening. Great, not necessarily all good, but big events are happening, and we're smack in the middle of this historical event that it is way too soon for us to fully comprehend, let alone judge what their significance is. I said only after the war will end, whenever that may be, we'll be able to begin to comprehend what has actually happened to us, and for our consciousness to align with the new reality that we'll be faced with. I said, and therefore, since we're in the middle of things, the best idea or the best option we have is to have emunah, have faith, push forward, not have a defeatist attitude. And then I went on to discuss with him a little bit. We discussed it together. That seems to be the model of how things work in the history of Am Yisrael. That divine providence, history, Jewish fate, Jewish destiny create new realities, and then people's individual consciousness rises to the new objective reality that's being pushed forward by the arc of Jewish history. I said, and we're in the middle, and therefore we should be looking at it in these terms, in these concepts, and discussing it in this way, and not, God forbid, chas v'chala, to have a defeatist attitude, one which weakens us, weakens the people around us. Rather, just exactly the opposite. So I think it's an important point to keep in mind, and he and I continued discussing it, and it was nice to see the shift in his own thinking. I think that's something we're all called upon to do.